Amid reports of a major U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, a U.S. aircraft carrier has yet to reach the region. The development was reported on January 23 by Fox News, against the backdrop of growing fears of a possible U.S.-Iran war. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has not yet entered the U.S. Central Command Area of Responsibility in the Indian Ocean. The strike group has been en route from the Asia-Pacific region for the past several days, after being ordered to divert toward the Middle East. According to the report, the USS Lincoln is not yet in the Gulf of Oman and is therefore not within striking distance of Iran. It is expected to take days, if not up to a week, before the carrier strike group arrives on station near Iran. In addition to naval movements, the United States is discreetly deploying more air defense systems and ground equipment to the Middle East, according to multiple reports. Washington has also authorized an increase of more than 30,000 troops across the U.S. Armed Forces under recently approved defense legislation. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom has deployed Typhoon fighter jets to Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar as of January 23. On January 22, the American president stated, "We have a big force going toward Iran," signaling a significant buildup of U.S. military power.
Where do things stand with Iran? The U.S. has got sizable military assets.
You know, we have a lot of ships going that direction, just in case. We have a big flotilla going in that direction, and we'll see what happens. Big force. We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. I stopped 837 hangings on Thursday. They would have been dead. Every one of them would have been hung. This is like from 1,000 years ago. This is an ancient culture. Very smart people, by the way, but it's an ancient culture. 837, mostly young men, were going to be hung on Thursday. And I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit. It'll make what we did to your Iran nuclear look like peanuts. And an hour before this horrible thing was going to take place, they canceled it. And they actually said they canceled it. They didn't postpone it. They canceled it. So that was a good sign. But we have an armada. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction. And maybe we won't have to use it. We'll see.
Would you like the supreme leader to step down or to go into exile?
I don't want to get into that. But they know what we're looking at.
You said today that they want
There's a lot of killing going on.
You said today they want to talk and we'll talk. So if you set something up and they asked you to...
That happened. But, you know, we've talked to them a lot. They should have made a deal before we hit them with the nuclear, because we really, that was a devastating hit. That whole area is out of play. And if they try to do it again, they're going to have to go to another area. We'll hit them there too, just as easily, much more easily. Because that was very advanced. They were building that for 10 years. And they'd have to start anew. So, you know, it was a total obliteration.
As the United States ramps up its military deployments, senior Iranian officials have repeatedly issued threats of war in response. On January 23, officials from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed that Trump is all talk and has picked the wrong path on Iran. Another senior Iranian official warned that Tehran would treat any U.S. attack as an all-out war against the United States. The official added that Iran's military is ready for the worst-case scenario and that all forces are on high alert. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said, quote, "Unlike the restraint Iran showed in June 2025, our powerful armed forces have no qualms about firing back with everything we have if we come under renewed attack. This isn't a threat, but a reality I feel I need to convey explicitly, because as a diplomat and a veteran, I abhor war. An all-out confrontation will certainly be ferocious and drag on far longer than the fantasy timelines that Israel and its proxies are trying to peddle to the White House. It will certainly engulf the wider region and have an impact on ordinary people around the globe." Unquote. Meanwhile, senior advisor to Ali Khamenei Yehia Rahim Safavi said, quote, "We are preparing for a fateful war with Israel. We possess weapons no one else has." Unquote. Senior IRGC Commander Ali Abdullahi said, quote, "The next war will end this conflict once and for all. Any attack on Iran's territory or interests would turn U.S. interests, bases, and centers of influence into legitimate and accessible targets. Unquote. Major General Mohammad Pakpour said, quote, "We warn the criminal, evil, and anti-human enemies, particularly the United States and the fake and racist Zionist regime, to learn from historical experience and what they sustained in the 12-day imposed war to avoid any miscalculation. If they commit any miscalculation, they will face a more painful and regret-inducing fate." Unquote. The current escalation comes just days after Trump appeared to soften his stance on possible strikes against Iran. He had backtracked on some of his earlier threats, claiming that Iran had halted executions of protesters. However, renewed U.S. military activity in the Middle East has once again intensified fears of a potential war with Iran. In response to growing tensions, several major airlines canceled flights to Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia on January 23, according to reports. This included Lufthansa, Air France, KLM, and Swiss, which suspended services to parts of the region over security concerns.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.